Imagine sitting in a car that is just going to drive over the edge of a 14-meter precipice. The forces to which you would be exposed when the car hits the ground are comparable to those created by a 50-kilometer-per-hour frontal collision. So it isn't difficult to understand why a car has to have a really well-planned safety design if people are to have even the slightest chance of escaping serious or critical injuries. Volvo have spent decades doing research to establish exactly what happens in a collision, the forces that are created, how people can be injured, how they can be protected. We have then designed our cars around people, with their situation as our starting point. A safety design in which all the experience gathered by our safety researchers over the years is incorporated. This is where Volvo safety begins, with driving safety, or dynamic safety as it is also known. Driving properties, performance, vision, the driver's area, they all combine to make the risk of ending up in difficult situations as small as it can possibly be. Among other things, the Volvo 240 has been called the safest car in the world and has received a number of international awards. This safety design has now been further developed in the new car series. Many of the crash safety components, which are just taken for granted nowadays, have been developed as a result of Volvo's pioneering safety research. The laminated windscreen, for example, was introduced by Volvo back in 1944, when Volvo's safety researchers worked with pretty much the same principles as they do today, like having a safety cage around the passenger compartment. And this is how Professor Bertil Aldman demonstrated his conclusions from years of careful research. It was Professor Aldman's pioneering work that led to what is perhaps the single most important safety component, Volvo's patented three-point safety belt. In Sweden, Volvo safety researchers have carried out a large survey in which they compared the rate of injury in more than 2,000 accidents before safety belts became legal requirements, with just about the same number of accidents after the law was passed. Their findings were telling, to say the least. After the safety belt law was introduced, there were 25% fewer fatal injuries and 68% fewer serious injuries. So use the safety belt in the front seats and in the back seats. Research shows that in a 50 km/h frontal collision, a person weighing 75 kilos is thrown forward with a force of about 3 tons. This force is known as your crash weight. The same dramatic change also occurs with a child's crash weight. But a child must reach a certain height before it can use a safety belt like an adult. That's why Volvo have developed special child safety equipment and fittings which give children exactly the same protection as the adults in a Volvo. These tests may look frightening, but if these had been real-life situations, the child would have had an excellent chance of escaping without injury. But Volvo's safety research doesn't stop here. Far from it. The whole of the car, every single component, is designed to protect the passengers. Features like the crumple zones, which absorb collision forces. The passengers are surrounded by an extremely powerful safety cage. Between the seats and the dashboard, there is a precision-designed survival space, which allows the safety belt to stop a human body being thrown forward. All hard surfaces have a safety padding, and the steering wheel has a special safety design. The carefully tested head restraints reduce the risk of whiplash injuries, and the laminated windscreen is designed for maximum protection. Another important detail in the new car series is that the fuel tank is located where there is the least risk of fire. It's in front of the rear axle. Since the 1960s, Volvo's unique accident squad have investigated thousands of accidents, all to help the researchers and designers to develop and improve the safety design. These investigations have often formed the basis of laboratory experiments in which our researchers attempt to reproduce real-life situations as far as they possibly can. High-speed cameras, which take thousands of photos a second, register every single detail of a crash. These films are then studied time after time by our researchers to enable them to continue to increase their understanding of the anatomy of an accident. Understanding and knowledge which is then built into the Volvo design. Now, imagine once more sitting in a car that is just going to drive over the edge of a 14-meter precipice. The forces to which you would be exposed when the car hits the ground are comparable to those created by a 50 km/h frontal collision. Can you be sure that Volvo's safety design will really protect you? Volvo measurements from a 50 km/h frontal collision give the passengers a very good chance of escaping without serious injuries. Volvo's safety design saves lives.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!